Well, I'm the chef de cuisine here for Marketplace West. I've been cooking here now for I'm going to my fourth year at OSU. I came from the outside private sector. I mean, I've been a chef in restaurants and hotels and private chef, and we moved here to Oregon about 4 years ago, and I decided I wanted to start working for Oregon State as a chef. My role here at UHDS is to oversee all the food operations for all the concepts. We partner with other managers as to the logistics of the restaurants, but culinary is my strong background, so they want me to kind of develop recipes, the training of the chefs, the cooks, as far as in this dining room. My other role is for the whole department for UHDS, is where we collaborate with the other chef de cuisines on campus of the McNary and Arnold, and when we get together to do larger events that really impact the campus as well. And so my job is to kind of be part of that culinary team and to give a lot of input when we're making decisions. Well, when I interact with the students, we have a lot of student employees here on campus. In fact, in our building alone, we have 250 students. And their average about time work here is about 2.5 hours. So while they're here, we try and train them as much as possible while they're learning their academics as well. But we try and just teach them what we do here is food. They're our driving force. If we didn't have our students here, our department would not be able to function the way it functions and feed these many students. So our job as management here is to kind of really engage with the students, teach them, give them empowerment to kind of do the things that they need to do. And so I just walk around, and when they're doing something or not doing something, I kind of give them guidance and direction and help them get better. Well, my culinary background comes from California, basically. I started cooking when I was young, at 16. I wasn't so successful in high school. And then I moved to Los Angeles, and I started learning how to be a chef there in the hotels. And so while at that time, a lot of the chefs were becoming like these celebrity style chefs, so I kind of gravitated towards that and figured if I'm going to be a chef, that's what I want to do. This was before Food Network, before all these food channels. Chefs were becoming celebrities in LA because it's Los Angeles. So my family's back in Los Angeles, and so I have a sister. She's in the entertainment industry. She's a producer and a songwriter, and she's a performer. And she's also, in some ways, a philanthropist, and she helps a lot of charities. So whenever she gets asked to host a charity event, she calls me up and she asks me to come down. So I fly down a lot, and I travel to Los Angeles for these events, and I coordinate a lot of the menus for these events. And so while I'm down there, I really like to kind of represent Oregon State, because sometimes they're all asking where I come from. And I say, well, I'm a chef at Oregon State, and so I get to talk about the school and what I do up here. So I try, and as I meet all these people, it's just really fun to kind of bring the school and tie that in. And so I've been on numerous places, shows, and met some great people, and I continue to fly down there, and I have to fly down at March as well to do another big event. And, back in the 90s, and I'm not going to tell my age, but back in the early 90s, mid-90s, Republican candidate, he was a senator, Bob Dole, decided to run for president against Bill Clinton's second term. And I was a chef in a popular restaurant in San Diego where the Republican convention was being held. And an hour before we were getting ready to open, in comes the representative for the presidential nominee, and they decided they wanted to do a party at the restaurant, last minute luncheon. And so there was about 75 news crews. They closed off the whole block. Anyway, so Bob Dole, Newt Gingrich, they all came in. They had an incredible lunch. Eventually later, I got a picture and a letter from the presidential nominee, Bob Dole. Well, he lost. And then he sent me a reference letter, and knowing that the White House during George Bush's second term they were looking for a chef, and I I've wanted to work at the White House before. I thought it would be great for my career. And so I was in the midst of just applying just to go be a cook, just to say, hey, I've worked at the White House. But unbeknownst to me, I get this reference letter written by Bob Dole stating that he sent a letter to the White House, which I have on the wall, kept it for memento, actually nominating me as a candidate to be the chef at the White House. And so I was blown away because I really didn't think I was qualified. But so I went through the process, and at the end, Laura Bush decided she wanted to hire a female chef. So all the guys who were in the run got canceled out, and they chose a female, she's very talented. And so, but that's just my thing. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I may still try to pursue it sometime. As the chefs here on campus, it's our job to kind of stay focused on what's happening and try and gauge what the country's doing, what our region, what Oregon is doing. And so knowing that we get a lot of students from around the country, some international students, it's up to us to kind of keep things trendy. So we go to a lot of conferences, we read a lot of journals, but mainly we get sent out to conferences as chefs, and we go out there and we learn with other universities, and we see what the country is doing and what is becoming a certain trend. There are companies out there that go and research, and they come to these conferences and they kind of give us all the information, and we start developing menus and recipes based upon that. And some of the things here at OSU we were already doing before some of these colleges have been doing. So I have to say, give our hats off to what we do here at Oregon State. We do a phenomenal job of keeping up with the trends. And so lately we kind of just see where food is going. So right now we're in quinoa. We've got this quinoa craze going on as a healthy grain to really kind of offer as an alternative. So we feature that now in one of our concepts of Serranos, and we give them choices, and we kind of incorporate fresh local produce and products in there, and the kids, the students and the faculty really love it. And right now quinoa is a trending item, and there are a lot of other things that we try and stay focused on and keep. Our department, UHDS, a lot of students come and apply, and we have 3 dining centers. And so the main department at Buxton, they get the students through the whole process, their interview, excuse me, and then the students pick where they want to work, and then they send them. We give them a big training. We spend 4 days training students in how to work for UHDS, customer service, health, how to be health and safety procedures and policies that we have. And then the ones that want to go to East Dining Center Marketplace West, then we have another manager who she's really good at kind of training the students, getting them to really understand how to function here, and then we just take it from there. And then we kind of pick them we see their strengths, and we funnel them to the proper concepts. And not every student works at the same concept. We can have one student work at 5 different areas in the building. So it's a lot of ongoing training that's continually going on. So one of the great things that I never was able to do as a chef is compete. And every chef, when you're a chef, you work at restaurants, and you have that day in and day out things that you do. And then when you come to Oregon State, because we're an educational school as well, everything's about education. We get to be part of an organization called the NACUFs, which is the National Association for College and Food Service Industries. And they have competitions, and so it's all these chefs that get together, and we compete. They pick one item in that region, and we have to develop a recipe and write it all out, and we have to perform that dish in 1 hour's time with no ovens and nothing. We just have a little camp-style cooking top that's electric. And so we get to travel around the country to these conferences and compete. And so I've been fortunate enough, the last 2 that I was in, I went to Boston and competed against like some of the top colleges like Stanford, Harvard, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, and I was able to win a first silver medal, and then did another competition in Reno, and then I was able to win another silver medal. So I'm trying for the gold, but a lot of the chefs, we send them all out, they compete as well. It's just something I think students, they don't understand when we're walking through, and that we're not just here, we're out representing Oregon State in the country, and when we win a medal, it really kind of puts Oregon State on the map as far as.
This has been Ashley Van Pelt with your BUR News.